January 12, 1964. Albuquerque, New Mexico. A 17-year-old girl gives birth to a baby boy. The father? Gone. Vanished before the child is born. That baby has no money, no advantages, no father. 59 years later, that baby is worth $196 billion, the richest man in modern history. His name is Jeff Bezos, and this is the story of how an adopted kid with nothing built the most powerful company on Earth. The baby's name is Jeffrey Preston Jorgensen. His mother, Jacqueline Geis, is just 17 years old, still in high school. His biological father, Ted Jorgensen, is a circus performer, an alcoholic. And the moment he finds out Jacqueline is pregnant, he leaves. Just leaves. Jacqueline is alone, a teenage single mother in 1964 New Mexico. She works as a bank secretary to survive. She raises Jeffrey by herself. Here's the shocking part. Ted Jorgensen, Jeff's biological father, didn't know his son became Jeff Bezos until 2013. A reporter tracked him down. Ted was working in a bike shop in Arizona. When the reporter told him his son was the richest man on Earth, Ted was stunned. "Is he happy?" Ted asked. That's all he wanted to know. Ted Jorgensen died in 2015. He never met his son as an adult, never reconciled, never knew the man Jeffrey became. Imagine your dad left before you were born and never came back. That was Jeff's start. 4 years after Jeffrey is born, Jacqueline meets a man named Miguel Bezos. Everyone calls him Mike. Mike is a Cuban immigrant. He came to America alone at age 16, not speaking English, with nothing. He worked his way through college, became an engineer at Exxon. Mike and Jacqueline fall in love. They get married, and Mike does something remarkable. He legally adopts Jeffrey, gives him his name. Jeffrey Preston Jorgensen becomes Jeffrey Preston Bezos. The family moves to Houston, Texas. Mike raises Jeff as his own son. No distinction, no difference, just his son. Here's the thing Jeff didn't know. Mike wasn't his biological father. Nobody told him. And when Jeff finally found out at age 10, his response was simple. Mike is my real dad. Because Mike was there. Mike taught him. Mike believed in him. The lesson Jeff learned from Mike's story? You can reinvent yourself completely. You can come from nothing and build everything. Your start doesn't determine your finish. Jeff would remember that lesson. He would use it to build Amazon. Young Jeff wasn't normal. Even as a toddler, he showed signs of obsession. Age 3, Jeff tries to dismantle his crib with a screwdriver. Why? He wanted to sleep in a real bed. The crib was limiting, so he tried to take it apart himself. Elementary school, teachers complained that Jeff was too intense. He would focus on a problem and refuse to move on until he solved it. Other kids would finish and move to recess. Jeff would stay, working, obsessing. Age 12, Jeff built an alarm system for his bedroom using parts from Radio Shack. Not because someone broke in, because he wanted to keep his younger siblings out of his room. He engineered a solution to an annoyance. High school, Jeff is valedictorian. In his graduation speech, he doesn't talk about college or careers. He talks about colonizing space, building hotels in orbit, saving Earth by moving heavy industry off the planet. He's 18 years old, and he's already planning to change humanity. Jeff was the kid who couldn't just build a Lego house. He had to build an entire Lego city, then figure out how to make it better, then redesign the whole thing because it wasn't efficient enough. That obsession, it never went away. Every summer, Jeff goes to his grandfather's ranch in Texas. Pop Geis owns 25,000 acres. It's massive, isolated, and Pop runs it with one rule: fix everything yourself. A windmill breaks, you fix it. A pipe bursts, you fix it. A cow gets sick, you do the veterinary work. No excuses, no calling for help. You make it work. Jeff spends summers working 10-hour days. Age 13, he's laying pipes, repairing machinery, doing the work of adult ranch hands. Popgeist teaches Jeff something crucial. It's easier to be clever than be kind. Choose kind. But Jeff learns both. Be clever, be strategic, but also be kind when it serves you. Pop also teaches him something else. Long-term thinking. You don't fix something halfway. You fix it so it lasts. You plan for decades, not days. This is where Jeff develops his day one mentality. Every day is day one. You never coast. You never assume success. You work like you're still starting. Always. It's a mentality that will define Amazon for 30 years. By age 18, Jeff Bezos had a plan. Not a vague dream, a detailed plan. He would work in finance, learn how business works, save money, then build something that would change the world. He was patient, he was methodical, and most importantly, he was utterly certain it would work. But here's what nobody knew. The thing he would build wouldn't just change one industry, it would change all of them. And it started with books. Jeff graduates Princeton, summa cum laude, computer science and electrical engineering. He could become a professor. He chooses Wall Street instead. Why? Money and knowledge. He wants to understand how business works at the highest level. By 1990, age 26, Jeff is the youngest senior vice president at D.E. Shaw, one of the most powerful hedge funds in the world. He's making over $1 million a year. In the early 1990s, that's equivalent to $2 million today, at age 28. He could retire, he could coast. He doesn't. Because Jeff has a framework for decisions. He calls it regret minimization. Here's how it works. Imagine yourself at age 80. Look back at your life. What will you regret? What will you wish you had tried? Jeff imagines himself at 80. Would he regret leaving Wall Street? No, he'd be fine. Would he regret not trying to build something? Yes, that would haunt him forever. So the decision is easy. Jeff had a great job making tons of money. He quit to sell books online. Everyone thought he was crazy. Spring 1994. Jeff is still at D.E. Shaw, and he reads a statistic that changes everything. Internet usage is growing 2,300% per year. 2,300%. Nothing in human history has grown that fast. Jeff realizes the internet is going to be massive. If you can build something on the internet early, you'll dominate. But what should he sell? He makes a list of 20 products. Books, CDs, software, office supplies, clothing, electronics. He analyzes each one, and he chooses books. Why books? Because there are 3 million books in print. The biggest bookstore in the world, Barnes & Noble's flagship in New York, carries 150,000 books. That's 5% of what exists. You can't build a physical store big enough to hold 3 million books. Impossible. But you can build a website that lists 3 million books. The internet breaks physical limitations. That's the insight. That's the key. Jeff quits his job. He tells his boss at D.E. Shaw he's going to sell books online. His boss says, "This is a really good idea for someone who doesn't already have a good job." Jeff replies, "You're right. That's a risk I have to take." And he walks away from $1 million a year. July 1994. Jeff and his wife Mackenzie pack their car. They're driving from New York to Seattle. Why Seattle? 2 reasons. It's near a major book distributor, and it has tech talent from Microsoft. Jeff writes the business plan in the car. Mackenzie drives, Jeff types on a laptop, building the plan for what will become Amazon. They arrive in Seattle, rent a house in the Bellevue suburbs. The garage becomes the office. First employees? Jeff, Mackenzie, and 3 programmers. They need desks. Office desks cost $300 each. Jeff thinks that's stupid, so he goes to Home Depot, buys doors, solid core doors, $60 each, attaches 4x4s as legs, door desks. The symbolism becomes Amazon culture. Spend money on what matters. Technology, infrastructure, customer experience. Everything else, cheap out. Even today, Amazon executives use doors as desks. When Amazon became a trillion-dollar company, they still used doors as desks. It's a reminder, don't waste money. Stay scrappy. Here's where it gets crazy. July 16th, 1995, Amazon.com goes live. No advertising, no marketing budget, just a website. First week, orders from all 50 states and 45 countries. They pack books in the garage, drive boxes to the post office. Jeff and Mackenzie are on their hands and knees taping boxes shut. First year revenue, $511,000, $500,000. 1996, $15.7 million. That's 30 times growth in 1 year. 1997, Amazon goes public. IPO raises $54 million. Stock price, $18 per share. Everyone celebrates. Jeff doesn't. Why? We're not profitable. Revenue doesn't matter if we're losing money. And Amazon loses money. A lot of money. 1997, loses money. 1998, loses money. 1999, loses money. 2000, loses money. 2001, loses money. 7 straight years of losses. Investors are furious. When will you make profit? Jeff's answer, I don't care about profit yet. I care about growth. The strategy? Sacrifice short-term profit for long-term dominance. Amazon loses $3 billion from 1995 to 2003. $3 billion. Gone. But revenue keeps exploding. $150 million 1997 to $600 million 1998 to $1.6 billion 1999. By 1999, Amazon was growing faster than any company in history. But it wasn't making money. In fact, it was losing money so fast that analysts called it Amazon.bomb. They predicted bankruptcy by 2001. Jeff Bezos was mocked on magazine covers. Business professors used Amazon as an example of dot-com bubble insanity. Everyone knew Amazon would fail. Everyone was wrong. Because Jeff wasn't building a bookstore. He was building something nobody had ever seen before, and he was willing to lose billions to make it work. March 2000, the dot-com bubble bursts. Hundreds of internet companies collapse overnight. Amazon stock? December 1999, $106 per share. September 2001, $6 per share. 94% crash. Employees who joined for stock options, their options are worthless. Life savings, gone. Amazon lays off 1,300 employees, 14% of the workforce, fired. Barron's magazine puts Jeff's face on the cover with the headline Amazon.bomb. They predict Amazon will run out of cash by the end of 2001. Bankruptcy is inevitable. Amazon's bonds are downgraded to junk status. Banks refuse to lend money. Suppliers demand cash up front. It's a death spiral. Jeff's response? This is going to work. We just have to survive. And somehow, through pure force of will and vision, Jeff convinces bondholders to accept lower interest rates to save cash. He convinces suppliers to give them credit. He convinces employees to keep working for worthless stock. January 2002. Amazon posts its first profitable quarter ever. $5 million profit. Tiny, but it proves the model works. The stock slowly recovers. Imagine building the biggest lemonade stand ever, but you're losing money on every cup. Everyone says you'll go bankrupt. Then suddenly you figure out how to make profit. That's Amazon 2002. Jeff's vision was never just books. 1998, Amazon adds music and DVDs. 1999, electronics, toys, tools, kitchen items. The goal? Sell everything. Competitors panic. They're entering our territory. Toys R Us sues Amazon for competing against their partnership agreement. Amazon doesn't care, pays the settlement, keeps selling toys. The ruthless playbook? Undercut every competitor on price. Lose money if necessary. outlast them. When they die, raise prices slightly. Like diapers.com. Diapers.com, owned by Quidsy, is winning the baby products market. Fast shipping, great service, customers love them. Amazon offers to buy them. Quidsy says no. So Amazon lowers diaper prices below cost. They lose millions of dollars selling diapers cheaper than they paid for them. Quidsy can't compete. They're a small company. They can't lose millions. After months of losing money, Quidsy has no choice. They sell to Amazon for $545 million. Amazon spent over $200 million losing money on diapers just to destroy a competitor, then bought them cheap when they were desperate. The FTC investigated, did nothing. That's the Amazon way. Dominate or destroy. Amazon's IT team has a realization. We're really good at server infrastructure. They built massive server farms to handle holiday shopping spikes. Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Amazon servers can handle millions of transactions per second. But here's the thing. The rest of the year, those servers sit idle. Wasted capacity. Someone has an idea. What if we rent out our servers to other companies? March 2006, Amazon Web Services launches. The pitch? You don't need to buy servers. Rent ours. Pay only for what you use. First clients? Startups too small to afford their own servers. Netflix, Airbnb, Spotify. They all run on AWS. And here's where it gets insane. AWS becomes more profitable than Amazon retail. 2023, AWS revenue is $90 billion. Operating profit is $24 billion. That profit subsidizes Amazon's retail losses. Amazon can sell products at a loss because AWS makes billions of dollars in profit. The hidden empire. Most people don't know that half the internet runs on Amazon. When you watch Netflix, you're using Amazon. When you listen to Spotify, you're using Amazon. When you use Zoom, you're using Amazon. Jeff's genius? He turned an internal tool into a trillion-dollar business. Amazon figured out they were good at computers, so they started renting computers to everyone. It became bigger than their store. Jeff has an obsession. He calls it Day One. Day One means startup mentality, hungry, paranoid, never comfortable. Day Two means complacency, coasting, then death. Jeff's office building is named Day One. When he moves offices, he renames the new building Day One. The name follows him. The culture he builds at Amazon? Work 60 to 80-hour weeks minimum. Emails at midnight are expected. If you're not responding after hours, you're not committed. Amazon has 16 leadership principles. One of them, insist on highest standards. Translation, nothing you do is ever good enough. Meetings start with everyone silently reading a 6-page memo. No talking for the first 20 minutes. Then discussion. PowerPoint is banned. Jeff says PowerPoint hides sloppy thinking. And then there's the treatment of workers. Warehouse workers are tracked by algorithm. Every package they pick is timed. If their pick rate drops below target, they're fired. Not by a manager, by the algorithm. Bathroom breaks are timed. Ambulances are regularly called to Amazon warehouses for workers who collapse from exhaustion or heat. Meanwhile, Jeff's wealth explodes. 2010 worth $12 billion, 2015 worth $50 billion, 2018 worth $160 billion, richest man in modern history. The paradox? Jeff optimizes everything for efficiency, but treats workers as disposable parts in a machine. By 2015, Jeff Bezos had done the impossible. Amazon survived the dot-com crash. Amazon became the everything store. Amazon built a secret empire, AWS, that powers the internet, and Jeff Bezos became the richest man on Earth. But here's the thing about Jeff. He wasn't done, not even close, because Amazon was just the beginning. His real dream? The one he talked about at age 18, space, and he was going to use his Amazon billions to make it happen. September 2000. Amazon is still losing money. The dot-com crash is happening, and Jeff secretly founds a company called Blue Origin, a space company. This is the childhood dream, the high school valedictorian speech. Save Earth by moving heavy industry to space. Blue Origin's motto, Gradatum ferociously. Latin for step by step, ferociously. Jeff operates Blue Origin in complete secrecy for 5 years. No announcements, no press, just building rockets. July 20th, 2021, Jeff personally flies to space on a Blue Origin rocket. 11 minutes in space, crosses the Kármán line, officially an astronaut. Critics explode. Jeff, people are peeing in bottles in your warehouses to meet quotas and you're joyriding in space? Jeff's response during the press conference? I want to thank every Amazon employee and customer because you guys paid for all of this. Shocking tone deafness or honest gratitude? You decide. But here's Jeff's real goal. He's not building a space tourism company. He's building infrastructure for a space civilization. His plan? Move all heavy manufacturing off Earth within 200 years. Build colonies in space. Save Earth by making it a residential planet only. Jeff made so much money selling stuff online that he built his own space company to achieve his childhood dream. August 13th, Jeff buys the Washington Post for $250 million, cash. One of America's most important newspapers, the paper that broke Watergate. Why would Jeff buy a newspaper? Public reason? Democracy dies in darkness. It becomes the Post's slogan under his ownership. Real reason? Influence, power, control over political narrative. President Trump repeatedly attacks the Post as the Amazon Washington Post. He sees the connection. The richest man on earth owns a major newspaper. He can shape political coverage, investigate his enemies, protect his interests. Here's the shocking part. $250 million is 0.15% of Jeff's net worth at the time. That's like the average American spending $75. Pocket change. January 2019, Jeff announces he's divorcing Mackenzie. They were married 25 years. She was there in the garage, packing books, building Amazon from nothing. The reason? Jeff had an affair with Lauren Sanchez, a TV host. The National Enquirer gets intimate photos of Jeff and Lauren. They threaten to publish unless Jeff backs off investigating them. Jeff's response? He publishes their blackmail attempt. Rather than capitulate to extortion and blackmail, I've decided to publish exactly what they sent me. Shocking power move. He controls the narrative. The divorce settlement? $38 billion, 25% of Jeff's Amazon stock. Largest divorce settlement in history. Mackenzie becomes the third richest woman on Earth overnight. She pledges to give half her wealth to charity. Jeff does not. And here's the insane part. Despite losing $38 billion, Jeff's wealth increases. Within 2 years, he's richer than before the divorce. How? Amazon stock keeps growing faster than he can spend money. Let's talk about what Amazon is today. 2023 revenue, $575 billion per year. Employees, 1.5 million people, second largest employer in the world after Walmart. Products available, over 350 million items. Prime members, 200 million people worldwide. AWS market share, 32% of all cloud computing on Earth. Amazon owns Whole Foods, where you buy groceries, Twitch, where you watch gamers, Ring, your doorbell, Zappos, your shoes, IMDb, movie ratings, Audible, audiobooks, and over 100 other companies. The average American household spends $1,400 per year on Amazon. Amazon controls how you shop, what you watch, Prime Video, what you read, Kindle, Washington Post, how you talk, Alexa listens in your home, how businesses run, AWS powers them. One company, one man's vision, controls that much of your life. But there are problems, big problems. Warehouse injury rates are twice the industry average, workers getting hurt at alarming rates. Delivery drivers pee in bottles because they can't meet quotas if they stop for bathroom breaks. The algorithm fires people automatically, no human decision, just you're too slow, you're fired.
Amazon has spent millions fighting unionization efforts. Then there's the monopoly issue. Amazon uses data from third-party sellers to create competing products. They see what sells well, make their own version, promote it above the original seller. They control so much internet infrastructure that banning Amazon would literally break the internet. Environmental impact? 465 million packages shipped in 2019. Massive carbon footprint. Amazon pledges Amazon will be carbon neutral by 2040. Critics point out he owns the world's largest yacht. He flies private jets. He went to space for fun. 2021. Jeff steps down as CEO. Andy Jassy takes over. Jeff becomes executive chairman. He focuses on Blue Origin and other ventures. His current net worth fluctuates between $160 and $196 billion. The UN estimates $6 billion per year could end world hunger. Jeff could do that 30 times over and still be the richest person on Earth. His response to criticism? He donates $200 million to the Smithsonian, $100 million to food banks. That's 0.2% of his wealth. So here are the questions we can't answer. Is Amazon good for society? Is convenience worth the monopoly? Should one person have $200 billion? What's the limit? Did Jeff build the future, or did he just destroy all competition? Is his space vision inspiring or completely out of touch while workers struggle? The worker treatment, is it necessary efficiency or is it exploitation? Jeff Bezos took an idea about selling books online and turned it into the most powerful company on Earth. He changed how 8 billion people shop. He built infrastructure that runs half the internet. He's going to space. He's one of the richest humans who ever lived. But here's the question nobody can answer. Did he make the world better, or did he just make himself richer? Some people say Amazon is amazing. You can buy anything and it arrives tomorrow. Some people say Amazon is terrible. It destroys small businesses and treats workers like robots. Maybe both are true. January 12, 1964. A baby is born to a teenage mom. No money, no advantages, no father. January 12, 2024. That baby is 60 years old. He's worth $196 billion. He built a company with 1.5 million employees. He controls how we shop, what we watch, how the internet runs. He's been to space. He owns a major newspaper. 60 years from nothing to everything. Is it the greatest success story in business history? Absolutely. Is it a story of one man's obsession changing the world? Without question. But is it a story we should celebrate, or should it scare us? Because here's the truth about Jeff Bezos and Amazon. They didn't just build a company, they built a new way of life. A world where everything is convenient, everything is fast, everything is tracked. Where you can buy anything you want with one click. Where workers are optimized by algorithms. Where competition doesn't exist because Amazon already won. Jeff Bezos looked at the world and said, I can make this more efficient, and he did. But efficiency isn't everything, and speed isn't always progress. The boy from Albuquerque became the richest man on Earth by being smarter, more obsessed, and more ruthless than everyone else. He built the everything store. But what did we lose while he was building it? That's the question we're still trying to answer.